Happy Multichrome Monday. I'm so excited to be finally doing this video. It's been on my list of videos to film for at least a year, give or take, and I'm finally getting to it. I'm going to be showing you 5 multi-chrome eyeshadow looks for the office. Now, I want to preface this, and please do not skip through this part. Everyone has a different kind of job, so what I consider office looks might not be your office looks. It's going to depend on what kind of job you do, and some jobs have different requirements, such as if you're working at a bank versus working at a Sephora. I work at a design studio. I'm a graphic designer, so I've worn cut creases to work before, and nobody bats an eye. I've worn blue eyeliner to a client meeting that matched their brand colors, so I am in a creative field with creative people, so that doesn't restrict me at all. That being said, I don't do cut creases to work anymore. I don't really do super rainbow colorful looks either. I just cannot be bothered early in the morning. I have quite a bit of a commute and I value my sleep, so I really want my makeup to take me 30 minutes, really tops. I don't want to have to get up extra. So watch the tutorials with that in mind and with your lens of what you think an office appropriate eyeshadow look is. So here are the 5 multi-chromes that I chose to feature in this video. Let me know if you would like to see 5 more. At first I was going to do just 3 looks, but then I was like, no, you know what? 5 business days, we're gonna pick 5 multi-chrome eyeshadows. I think the shiftiness here varies a little bit. There's also different levels of opacity as well as finishes in here. So some more topper like. I do tend to really only use more translucent kind of eyeshadows, but I did want to show you some more opaque shades. So there are 2 shades in here that are a bit more opaque than the others. So the goal with the selection was also to get different variations of colors. So I wanted to definitely get more of like an orangey, kind of more slightly neutral leaning, but a little bit punchier. I wanted to get a green flashing, a purple and a blue. Those 2 are definitely a bit more on the colorful side, and then a more neutral leaning shade, but it is holographic, so it has that extra punchiness to it for sure. So let's get right into the looks. So for the first look, I'm going to use Glow Up, which is from ShineBySD, and it's quite sheer, but it has just a little bit of a green tint to it. And I'm going to be pairing it with the mattes from the All Done Up palette from Blend Bunny. I'm basically going to go down this row. So just keeping in mind, these are my day-to-day looks, so I tend to really gravitate towards specific kinds of looks that I like to do that I think are most flattering on my eyes and on my face shape. And those are predominantly eyeshadow wings. I do eyeshadow wings majority of the time. They're kind of my go-to, so I'll probably be showing you at least 2 or 3 eyeshadow wing kind of looks, but I also do like to do like outer corner, just smoke out a little bit. I don't really do too many looks where I don't deepen out the crease or just do something in my outer corner. So I'm gonna do 1 look where I just sweep. As for my day-to-day primer, I do love the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I'm not gonna be using it for this video because this is a very long-lasting primer and I'm not going to be wearing these looks all day, so it doesn't make sense for me to be using this in this video. I also use the Pat McGrath eyeshadow primer, but in this video I'm going to be using the Natasha Denona eyeshadow primer, so just keeping that in mind. And I also have the Fair & Pixie Epoxy. Of course, that has been my go-to for so long. So I'm just going to put down just really a little bit. This is probably actually even too much. And I'm just going to spread it with the Singe Beauty brush, making sure I really get up to my lash line too, especially if I'm doing an eyeshadow wing kind of look. Gotta make sure you put primer there. For my eyeshadow wings, I love using the Game Beauty E05. You can also use a pencil brush type. So for example, the Refer 03 is great for that. And then the Refer 23 as well. Sometimes I'll use a larger brush. This is from Game Beauty. This is the E04. So this one is just a bit bigger, but kind of similar concept. And then also these kinds of pencil brushes where these are not necessarily pointy like the Refer. They're a little bit more dome shaped and they are longer bristles and less thick. These are also all great for eyeshadow wings. So I'm taking Shapely and I'm just gonna go close to my lash line, and you always want to start on the outermost corner and then slowly start winging it out. And then underneath my lower lash line, I like to connect just a little bit, not too far underneath here, because this is where throughout the day I would just get the eyeshadow to wear all the way down to here. I have very oily under eyelids as well, which I didn't think that was even a thing, but here we are. So I'm going to take it only about halfway. This is going to depend very much on your eye shape, but I like to take it about halfway. Since my eye is pretty curved, I feel like if I bring it anywhere here, it's just going to close off my eye. So I really like to just accentuate this outer corner area. And and really trying to keep it. And you can of course take the wing as far out as you want. Sometimes I do shorter wings. I'll do a shorter wing with one of the other eyeshadows, but this is kind of what I'm going for. So this one is going to be like a super winged out kind of look. And sometimes this is all I do and I put a shimmer on, but for this look I'm going to go into Transform, and I'm just going to go in very light-handed. This is also a more kind of flimsier brush that has a flat top. So this is going to really not necessarily pack it on and give me more of a wash of the shade. And that's exactly what I want. I want just a little bit. I didn't want to put too much green for this look, so that's why I'm going in with more of a neutral shade. And I'm just going to stop that right there. And then going in with the Fahrenheit Pixie Epoxy, we're going to put this all over the lid, or just kind of up to the wing basically. And I like to tap this out just to make sure that it is, one, tacky. I have put on enough, but I've also not put on too much, so any excess ends up on my finger, and I just wipe it down on the towel that I have on my desk. I tend to use my fingers for the most part, especially because I don't want to risk too much fallout, even though I do my eyes before my base every time I do my makeup. And the shade is pretty sparkly, so again, going in with Glow Up, here's what it looks like on my pinky. And I'm just going to tap it on. And with this kind of shadow, you can go in and you can have it just kind of like this, like ethereal sparkle, or you can go in and like layer more and more until it's like really, really, really extra sparkly. It's less of like a wash and it's a little bit more pigmented, and I kind of rotate in between those completely depending on my mood that day. So I'm pretty happy with this, and this is the kind of look I would definitely do. So here's the first finished look. And this shade has a little bit of a shift, but it's not too obvious. It's just a hint of a shift on the outer edge there, or on the inner edge. For the second look, I'm going to be taking Goblet from Clionadh, which is a really bright kind of orangey shifting shade to like a lime green with some yellow in there. I'm going to go into the neutral mattes milieu, and I'm going to be taking this warm neutral shade. And this is going to be the look where I just use a matte and a shimmer, and it's going to be super quick and easy. So just going in with a little bit of primer, and I'm using this smaller blending brush. This is the What's Up Beauty R108, and that's just going to go swooping right into my crease. And I'm starting a little lower so I have room to blend up, and I don't end up having to blend up all the way up to my eyebrow. So it's gonna be a very simple kind of look, but definitely a little bit more punchy because of the shimmer shade. And I'm just taking a little bit more and just adding a little bit more onto this outer portion, and also blending underneath my lower lash line. And I just really wanted it to be super blended out. Picked up Goblet on the Refer 21 brush, and I misted it with just some water. This is a very smooth kind of shade, so sometimes I would use a tacky primer and sometimes not. And I'm just going to swoop that all the way across onto the outer corner and up into my crease a little bit. I don't want any harsh lines, not trying to do a cut crease. I'm just trying to swoop this all the way across. And done. That's the second look. For this third look, I'm going to use First Light from Terra Moons. I love using iridescent multi-chromes on the lid, so I'm going to be doing another eyeshadow wing. And for the mattes, I'm going to be dipping into the dark mattes from Viseart, and I'm going to be dipping into a cooler toned brown, and I'm going to be using a different brush so you can see how you can create an eyeshadow wing with different brushes, slightly different. So this one, I'm going to keep very small, or, I mean, it could be smaller, but you know what I mean. It's smaller than the previous wing, and I'm just kind of smoking it out a little bit, and again bringing it about halfway in. I might just feather it out a little bit further. I have a little bit of fallout. I do want it to be just a little bit more pointed, so I'm just going to take it a little bit further, definitely smaller than the previous one. Sometimes I like to put like a almost pastel shade kind of in here and then put the shimmer in the center. So I'm going in with the Fair & Pixie Epoxy, and I'm just going to be putting this basically all up in here in this inner half of my lid, a little bit onto the center of my lid. This is definitely another favorite kind of look that I do, especially with an iridescent shade. So I'm just picking it up on my finger. I have a towel in front of me so I can just wipe off my finger if not all of the shadow comes off. And this is just gonna go in here, and then I'm also going to bring it on the inner corner, and I'm gonna bring it up into my crease, especially on this inner corner, and just swoop it up and out a little bit. And this just really highlights this section, and I feel like it really opens my eyes, so that's why I like to do this. So here's the third finished look. Super simple, 2 eyeshadow, but nothing in the crease really, just a shimmer. For the fourth look, I'm going to be taking the Blend Bunny palette, and I'm going to be kind of dipping into this shade and then one of these. I haven't decided yet. And I'm going to be using Lucid Lavender from Touch of Glam Beauty. Now this is definitely a bit more adventurous for everyday, for an office look. So basically I'm going to be pairing some cooler tone mattes to go with the purple to not over accentuate and make this a super colorful look, but still have that color. So I'm picking up Adept, and it's just gonna go on this outer corner. And actually I might not even end up deepening this up. So I'm just gonna take it in, and I wanna keep this pretty light. I don't wanna take this all the way down, or just really whatever is left on the brush and that hasn't been blended out. And I'm gonna of course connect it to the lower lash line, and just taking it in a little bit, but see it's pretty much empty here. So we're just accentuating this outer portion of my lid. I'm gonna take a little bit more just on my lower lash line here. Again, I'm not going too far. I really like to keep it ideally to only kind of like right here. Lucid Lavender on a brush, and I misted it. And I'm just gonna pop that all over the lid. I actually don't think I'm going to be deepening up this look. I'm gonna leave that for the final look. So this is also a quick little 2 eyeshadow kind of look. So you've got your taupe, you've got your purple multi-chrome shade, definitely a bit more adventurous. And I'm just gonna wipe off this brush and just go in and just make sure that the shimmer is blended in. I want it to be pretty seamless. And here's the fourth finished look. Tried my best to get the sparkles off my lid, but unfortunately they kind of like to stick down. So again, just priming. You can prime with whatever eyeshadow primer you prefer. For the mattes, I'm going to be dipping into the Neutral Mattes Milieu again from Viseart. And for the crease, I'm going to go in with this shade, and then for the outer corner, I'm going to go in with this shade. So I'm just going to start this off on this outer corner, and in circular motions, just start blending it outwards. And I'm going to be bringing it in just a little bit here, but again, leaving this area a bit more on the blank side. So not bringing it in here as much, and just blending it outwards and up, and that blended so nice. And then taking the dark shade, and I'm just gonna pop that on this outer corner, and I'm first really trying to only keep it on my lid and not into the crease yet. And I'm just gonna take it a little bit underneath my lower lash line. And this is the Refer 14 Mini, which is why I love it, because you can really get in here. And then once I have that, then I'm gonna start slowly blending it into the like orangey shade and just blend it out. But I don't want to blow this out too far out, so I just want a little bit of depth there just to like accentuate this outer area. And just take it out. I'm gonna take a little bit more of this orange just like in here. And that's pretty much it for the mattes. I'm gonna go in with a shimmer, so I'm gonna put down some Fair & Pixie Epoxy. I'm actually gonna be using a holochrome for this look, so you can see everyday holochrome. And it's gonna go all the way across the lid, but not fully into the outer corner. For the holochrome, I'm gonna be using Touch of Glam Beauty Honey Hollow. Picked it up on this brush, and it's gonna go basically everywhere I put the tacky primer down. So on this inner corner, which I'm going to swoop up again. I like to swoop it up in here and then take it out here. And I definitely want to overlap it onto the darker outer corner, but I want to make sure I leave the outer corner nice and matte for this look. And I'm just blending the shimmer into it so there's no harsh edge. And here's the 5th finished look. So those are also the eyeshadow techniques that I like to do a lot, kind of what I really gravitate towards nowadays. Especially, I think my makeup style has definitely changed quite a bit, and also my eyeshadow placement. I really like to accentuate the outer corner the most, not necessarily the inner corner, and it really just takes a lot of eyeshadow application, different experimentation with placements to find what really works for your eye shapes. You're going to have to experiment a little bit, but I really hope that this video was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below which look was your favorite, and also let me know if you would like to see a part 2 and which eyeshadows would you like me to use, and what are your favorite everyday go-to eyeshadows. It doesn't have to be multi-chrome. And that's everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.